Good afternoon. I'm Dory Schneider from Stampin' Always with Dory here, and I wanted to show you a fun technique that I learned a long time ago and recently revisited, and it is called the Starburst Technique. And it is a great way to use up some of that designer series paper. Sometimes we hoard it, and this is a great way for you to make beautiful cards to give to friends and relatives, and also use up your DSP. So the DSP I am using today comes from our spring catalog, and it comes from the Best Dressed 6x6 Designer Series paper pack. And I'm also using lovely lipstick and Petal pink cardstock. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and show you how I made this card. And then I have some other samples towards the end of the video that I'd like to share with you as well. I'm going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm bringing my mat here. And it is 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm also going to use a piece of Designer Series paper, and I'm going to cut it. Let me find one here. Into strips that are 2 by 6. So it's the little 6 by 6 pieces are perfect because you can get 3 pieces from one of the 6 by 6. Okay, so I'm gonna have 3 of these. And then let me move this over just a little bit. Then I'm going to put this in at the diagonal, and I want to make sure the top point of my paper and the bottom point of my paper are on the line where we're going to cut. Okay. And so I will have 2 diagonal pieces from one piece of 2 by 6 Designer Series paper. So I'm going to start. The paper I chose today, you want to make sure that if your paper is directional, that it's facing obviously in the right direction, but also that you have 2 pieces that complement each other very nicely. And this one, I decided I used kind of the bold that had the lovely lipstick, and then also the softer image with just the little dots that has the petal pink. So when you're doing the Starburst, you want to make sure that the points are all facing towards your belly button. That was the easiest way to explain that. So I am going to start, and I'm going to put one piece right in the center of my Whisper White. Okay, just like so. You can see my point is down. Then I'm gonna come, and you're just gonna alternate. So then my next piece is going to be the Petal pink piece, and I am going to leave just a little white space between the 2 pieces. I don't know if you can see that, but it's called a starburst, and when you see like a sunshine or a burst, there's kind of that little white ray that comes in between. So I left a little space in between. Personal preference, if you want them right next to each other, you can do that too. And again, we're just gonna alternate every other on our designs, and we're gonna build the base of our card. So this, I'm gonna put this down lower so it takes up the whole corner there. Okay, then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna work over here on this side. And I'm going to take another piece. You can use the adhesive of your choice. If you would like to use Tombow on these, you can. I chose snail, but whatever you would like to use is perfectly fine. So I'm gonna come over here, and this is gonna be my last piece, and I'll show you You're gonna need 6 pieces. And this one I'm gonna put down so it takes up as much space as possible. Okay, leaving that little bit of white. And you'll see you have this tiny little piece over here on the side. I'm gonna actually use, let me pull this up here. I am actually gonna use this little piece right here. I'm gonna trim this off. And I'm gonna bring it over here to this side, and it will take up that little corner there. Okay, so there you have your 6 pieces. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it over. So there's my 3 3/4 by 5 piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm gonna bring in my paper snips, and I'm gonna do this over here on the side. I'll bring the card back in for just a minute. You guys can look at that. And I'm gonna trim around the outside of my piece of Whisper White. Okay, and I'll show you how it's coming along. So your pieces are just going to fall off the edge there. Okay, so you can see we're trimming along the edge. And those pieces you're just going to throw away. There's really, you're gonna have little points and tips, and unless you want to make, I guess, a little 2x2 card, and you can use tiny Starburst for that. So still trimming around the outside here, and then I'll show you my final creation, and we'll go ahead and put the rest of our card together. Yeah, the paper snips definitely come in handy. They're nice and sharp, and they have a great tip. So they allow you to trim very nicely. So there is the piece of cardstock that I created with my DSP. Isn't that a fun technique? Okay, so we're gonna make our card together now. So I am going to take my piece of my Starburst, and I'm going to use my snail. I'm gonna put it in each corner, a little bit in the middle, and I'm gonna come back and put this on top. Let me move it up a little bit so you guys can see. Sorry about that. Right on top of my lovely lipstick layer. And you'll notice how nicely we have lovely lipstick in the designer series paper. So it works out really well as the Petal pink. And I am going to use the base of my card is going to be Petal pink. So I am going to fold this in half and give it a nice crease with my bone folder here. All right, just like so. Then I'm going to come back in, and I love dimensionals. So I am going to add a little layer of oomph to my card. I like to use one in each corner and one in the center. Okay, and I'm ready to go ahead and put this together because I'm not gonna do any stamping or anything directly on here. And again, you want to make sure all your tips are pointing down so you get the starburst look. So there's that piece there. All right. Then next, I have pre-cut a scalloped oval and a stitched oval, and that's what I'm going to use for my sentiment on the card. I chose for my sentiment today to use the Strong and Beautiful stamp set. This is in your main idea book and catalog. It's a great one for Mother's Day, but it's also for great for friends and has a lot of uplifting messages in it, encouraging and uplifting messages. So I'm going to use my lovely lipstick ink pad. I'm gonna open that up just like a compact and roll that back. And Lovely Lipstick is one of our ink colors, and they will be retiring. Today is April 22nd, and our retired list goes live today. So if Lovely Lipstick is one of your favorite and you need some products, you can shop with me 24/7, and you can visit doryschneider.stampinup.net, and you can get whatever you need for those retiring in colors and any of the other stamp sets and accessories that you might need. Okay, let me bring this up here a little bit. So I stamped, I cherish you, my true friend. I know I can always count on you. I'm gonna layer that right there on top of my scalloped oval. Again, I'm gonna flip that over. I'm gonna use dimensionals again. I love dimensionals. I love that I'm a demonstrator and I get discount on my dimensionals too. So they're great. They're 300 in a pack and they're a great way just to add a little bit of dimension to your card. Okay, so there's your sentiment right there. And then I had some of these little enamel dots. Sorry, I almost said epoxy. Enamel dots. And I'm gonna bring in my U-Pick 2 tool and I'm gonna pull these off. And I'm gonna put one on each side of my oval. And then I'm going to add them right onto the card, the DSP itself. So my little starburst there. And just to add another little extra dimension. I'm gonna use these up. I know there's gonna be new things that I want in the catalog, so I'm gonna use up my enamel dots so I can get more stuff. How's that? How's that for rationale? So there's the card today, the Starburst card. And let me bring in two others that I made. This one is from the See a Silhouette Designer Series paper in your idea book and catalog. Okay, and did the same technique. And I used the sentiment from the Peaceful Poppies that is in our spring catalog currently. And then here's one more. This is a fun birthday card. This uses the Birthday Bonanza set that is featured in our spring catalog again. And this one is all Designer Series paper. So I did not order the stamp set for this one. I just cut this little guy out using my stitched circle and backed it with a scallop circle and then added a little happy birthday. And you have the fun little presents and confetti on that little card there. Okay, and then I have two more to show you. Same basic design, but I just wanted to show you how different they look. So this one I used the Starburst technique. This one I did kind of a zigzag. So I had points going down and then points going up. And that's the look that you get on that one too. So you could try both. And again, just use the little toucan right out of the DSP. So you can see the difference in those two just by how you place your paper. And then again, these two, just by how you place your paper. Okay, so that is the Starburst technique today that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you have a great day. And if you need anything, please visit me at doryschneider.stampinup.net. Take care. Bye.